So I always kind of had depeltion on the brain from way back, I mean, gosh, so many years ago. And so when it came time, I reached out to some friends who, worked with other agencies, and I kind of listened to their stories. And everyone that I spoke to who used depeltion, it was just their support. There's support before, there's support in the middle, there's support after. It's like they become a permanent part of your life.
Got our first baby in 2017, and that
April.
was a 3-month placement, and then she went back home to a kinship relationship. So that was a little heartbreaking, but it didn't really deter us. We had another placement that was for 3 days, and so then the third placement was Bryson, our now 2-year-old.
Straight from the hospital.
Straight from the hospital at 4 weeks old.
Yeah.
And so then we learned he had 4 siblings. And through the foster process, we eventually got 2 of his other siblings placed in our home. And then approximately 6 months later, the oldest twin boys were then placed in our home. And we just waited until they said that it was time, and finally got to consummate the adoption. And depeltion was kind of with us the entire way.
The whole time, yeah.
Checking in on us and really making sure we didn't feel on an island in the whole process.
Well, and we didn't know that this would end up like this. When we found out there were 4 siblings, we were still, going through the process with CPS and working the program with the bio parents. And so we thought Bryson could leave us shortly too, and possibly be placed with family members or whatnot as well. So
there was a lot of uncertainty.
There was a lot of uncertainty. So when we found out about them at first, we're just like, oh, those sweet babies, we loved we loved our Bryson so much. And we would see them at visitations and get to know them, and you could tell they had such a desire for connection and love, and we were just falling in love with them, without even realizing it. And like he said, we just ended up, it was our meant to be family, and we didn't even realize it as we were going along.
And the system itself is so familiar with having sibling groups in the process. I remember Andy went to one court hearing, and somebody in the courtroom was like, oh, well, how many homes are these 5 siblings in? Anticipating the answer to be 4 or 5. And she stood up and said, just 1. And everybody kind of was taken aback because that's just not the standard that people are used to. And we are so ordinary.
Oh my gosh.
Let me tell you, we're the most ordinary, boring people probably ever made. I've got the most boring job. She's at home with 8 kids all day. It's
right before you got here, I was pulling out fuzz from my 2-year-old's nose. He's like, I stuck something up there. Oh, okay. So we're pulling out fuzz. And then
I'm just sitting in front of a computer doing emails all day. That was my day, pretty much.
But it's just, I've always dreamed of having a big family, and every little thing, even when I'm overwhelmed and exhausted or it's chaotic in here, it's so easy for me to just kind of go, I'm so blessed, and I wouldn't want this chaos any other way, because it's fun and we're all learning and growing and laughing through all of this. And we've had the best time with the online school and talking about the funny things happening with teachers and things going wrong. And everybody's doing this right now with their children. And so we're just ordinary. And when I think about all the things that were happening in the world where, people are calling us and wanting interviews, and we're just living in this bubble here. And so we see us on TV and we're like, oh, wow, when did that happen? Because we've just been living in this house and, kind of trapped during all of the COVID stuff. So, we really are. We're still learning and making mistakes. And the one thing that we teach our children is that we all make mistakes, even mom and dad, and we say we're sorry, and we learn from that, and we do better the next time. And so I think security is just the main thing we wanted to give them something they knew.
You guys like a baby.
Sorry. Security is just something that we wanted to make sure they felt deeply. And, you know, when that adoption day happened, it was like the biggest, you could just see their shoulders just relax. I mean, it was, we're Bonuras. I mean, yeah. I mean, they were just, it was amazing.
And it said that, you know, the kids are so blessed for this.
No.
We are more blessed
We are.
than they'll ever be
Yeah.
just by having them in our lives.